Hello everyone, my name is Sniping is Fun, and I welcome you all back to my next The 5 list on this channel. This is going to be the second episode of the official Season 2, the return of these The 5 lists. I haven't done these in quite a long time, since last year, and my first one back was last week when I talked about the 5 characters I feel should be DLC in Mortal Kombat 11. This topic is going to be an anime-related topic, though. And I know I haven't done a whole lot of those on my channel. It definitely has improved a lot over the years. The last couple of years, I've done more anime-oriented stuff on my channel. For those people out there are subscribed to me or watch my channel that are anime fans just like myself, and it is surprising. But it has been improving a lot. I've done some The 5 lists, some top 10s, other related videos on the topic, and I want to start doing more anime-related stuff. And this will be one of them on that long road to building up that kind of content on my channel. But it is going to be the 5 list of anime, and it's going to be a topic I have tackled on my top 10 before. I've done 2 of them on my top 10 before, like one top 10, and then later on I did another 10. So those of you that have seen those top 10s way back around like 2016, 17-ish range, there's going to be some repeats in here. About 2 or 3 of these are repeats, but they're ones that are repeated for the reason I feel they deserve it. They're the ones I really want to see the most in this said topic. But yeah, you already see the name of the video, the thumbnail, whenever I do change it, so you know what the actual anime topic is. But I like to always introduce people out there anyways, and it's going to be the 5 anime that deserve a remake. The 5 anime that deserve a full-fledged remake. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean stuff like Sailor Moon Crystal, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Hunter x Hunter 2011, series that eventually were remade later on, and either A, adapted the whole manga, or B, just were remade just to be done in better animation or better stuff. It's been going on. It's not, those 3 aren't the only ones in the anime realm that have gotten remakes like that. There's been numerous other ones, especially since the turn of the century, the 2000s, 2010s, for especially a lot of anime that came out in like the 90s. The 80s, the 70s, and even the 2000s now, and the 2010s. But like those are 3 prominent ones recently within like the last 10 or so years. Like those animes that get remade, and they usually get remade. Usually, the main reason anime usually gets remade is to usually tackle like the full manga story, usually because in the original anime adaptation they might have not fully completed it, or they changed some of the story, or so on and so forth, because usually a lot of anime get adapted as the manga and the light novels are being made, so they have to either A, change stuff up in the story, or take forever to freaking release it, or end it at a certain point and never finish it. That's not the only reason that stuff happens, but it is usually 9 times out of 10 the main reason. So what I mean by that is 5 anime I feel should get a full-fledged remake for one reason or another, but 9 times out of 10 it's usually to finish the full manga story, and I think there are 5 anime series I feel that fans would want that to happen to, and 5 series I feel deserve it. So without further ado, and without this intro going on way too long, let's get this list started with the 5 anime that deserve a remake. And the first one is definitely one I know I talked about, I think, in my first list, way back in my first top 10, but it is an anime series. I truly feel it deserves it. A lot of fans, I think, do feel that it deserves it, and that goes to Ouran High School Host Club. And for those of you who have never seen this series, it's basically a romantic comedy, shoujo type, lovey-dovey type show. It has its comedy, it has its romantic stuff, and it throws a little bit of action, and there's a little bit of fighting, but very minor. If you've watched any shoujo type anime or read any shoujo manga, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's pretty much, it's like more, usually targeted towards girls and women, but usually it does have stuff that usually sometimes boys and men can like too. And when I watched this series back in around 2014-ish, which was a couple years after the anime was done, I believe it was like early 2010s, late 2000s, I think, when the anime was actually done. I watched it and I enjoyed it, but it clearly, if you watch the series, you get one of those read the manga type endings. It ends with like the story still going on. There's still the story still going. If you have not seen the anime or read the manga, it's basically like this story about Haruhi right here, who goes to a school called Ouran, and basically kind of breaks the vase, kind of gets like owes a debt to the host club, which is basically a bunch of like boys that try to romanticize girls and give them entertainment, which is basically this group of characters right here. And Tomoki is the leader of it, and she owes them money, so she poses as a boy to pretty much get money to pay them back for stuff and so forth, and they become friends over time. There's a love romantic interest between Tomoki and Haruhi, which I think in the manga actually goes somewhere. It doesn't really go anywhere in the anime though. It doesn't go in, I think, because there's more stuff tackled in the manga, obviously. There's 18 volumes of the manga, there's 26 episodes in the anime. I believe, doing research, I mean, this is coming from someone, I'm a really big anime fan, but I've hardly read a lot of manga. I want to start pushing myself to read more manga and light novels, but yeah, I haven't done a whole lot of that lately, and Ouran is definitely a series I never tackled. I believe the anime ends around volumes 8 or 9, so only about halfway through the series, so it doesn't tackle the rest of the series because it only tackles about a year of their time in this high school. The actual manga series, I believe, goes through the full 4 years or so of high school, and I think they graduate, and I think they do become a couple or get married and get Tomoki and Haruki get really close and stuff like that. And there's other little changes here and there, but yeah, it's one of those series. It was never fully completed because around the time the anime was coming out, I think the manga and light novels or whatever for the series pretty much were still going on, so they had to end it somewhere because I think when you do stuff like that, I've come to realize that when the manga creators bringing out their manga, they bring it out slower and you have to adapt it, or you have to do like a Full Metal Alchemist series and just adapt a fully new story and just end it. And that's what the manga creator wanted, the original creator for the the anime of Full Metal Alchemist. Just do your own story. You don't worry about going after the manga. And that's why years later we got Brotherhood. But yeah, I think Ouran would definitely deserve it. I think a lot of anime fans want it. I think it's a series that truly deserves it. And I would love to see the full story told in anime form. And you can fit 18 volumes into about what is a typical anime season now, in the 10 range. You can probably mix that into about 16 to 18 episodes, maybe 20. Usually episodes for a lot of anime nowadays are 12, 13, 14 episodes, but you could probably bump it to about anywhere between 14 and 20 episodes and get 18 volumes in there. It's like the Sailor Moon Crystal type scenario where you take out all the filler, you take all the little extra stuff, and you focus on the main storyline points, the character development, and so on and so forth from the story. And I think you could easily fit that into a current day type of anime, which is usually shorter, and you can do the full manga story now that the manga's years past being done. And I think a lot of anime fans would truly, truly want to see it, and I do too. I would love to see the full story adapted into an anime, like a Ouran High School Host Club, fully Crystal Brotherhood adapted version. There you go. That's my first one. My second one is definitely another series that I really want to see, and I do believe was on one of my first lists as well, for my top 10 lists about this topic as well. And that goes to a Magical Girl series that I really would love to see get it, and Sailor Moon got it, and Cardcaptor Sakura finally has a new series, even though it's more of a continuation, not a remake, so on and so forth. Tokyo Mew Mew. It is basically like your Cardcaptor Sakura, your Sailor Moon, Madoka Magica, Mermaid Melody, Magical Do-Re-Mi, Cutie Honey, the Magical Girl show, except instead of Sailor Moon where it's plants, this is endangered animal species. Rio continues his father's legacy and experiments on trying to bring there's aliens that are going to take over the world or whatever, and he implants these endangered species into 5 girls, and they turn into animal superhero type girls. Ichigo, Mint, Lettuce, Pudding, and Zakuro. Basically, there were 7 volumes of the manga. There's 2 extra a la mode manga as well, and then the anime series was turned into 52 episodes, which only tackled the original series. And there's 2 reasons I would love to see this fully remade. I would love to see this full remake. I want to see them adapt the full manga. I would love to see the a la mode story, which they introduce a 6th teammate called Barry into the group. Adapted. I want to see the full story, not and go according to the manga. You could definitely make it adapt 9 volumes of manga into about maybe 20 episodes. If you cut out all the filler and maybe focus on more of the main storyline points, like Sailor Moon Crystal does, or Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood does, so on and so forth. I want to see it fully adapted. I would love to see the a la mode story fully adapted. And they're never going to go back and adapt 2 volumes of manga now, when the anime came out in the early mid-2000s, and the manga was around that time too. And I also would love to see a new series, because I want to see an anime English adaptation that does the full story. We got Mew Mew Power, which was for kids back in the day, and they only dubbed half of it, and they got the rights pulled away from them because they edited and changed too much. And I don't recall them ever doing a digital, any DVD, VHS, or Blu-ray or release of that series, unless you buy it through like a Japanese site and get the Japanese stuff, which is what everyone would really want because Mew Power kind of sucked. But then you have to go through all this stuff instead of just going to your local Best Buy or Target and buying the series. They never went back, and like Funimation or Viz or Sentai Filmworks never went back, and no one decided to redub this series. I want to see a new series because then it would make it more relevant and more prominent now for an anime dubbing company to dub it, so we can get a Blu-ray and DVD release that I can buy and put on my freaking shelf, because I would love to have bought this and had it in my anime collection, but I can't unless I go through like the sites and buy the Japanese version or buy an illegal done DVD Blu-ray. So that's the two reasons I would love to see it. I would love to see the full anime, full manga story with the a la mode after Deep Blue, which is the main alien villains coming down with Kishu and everything, and the a la mode story with Barry. And I would love to see a series that gets a English adaptation I can go to my store and buy, my local Best Buy or Walmart or whoever, and buy. Just saying. That's my two reasons I would love to see it. And there's fans of this series. The magical girl genre is really huge and really popular. And Sailor Moon made a return. Cardcaptor Sakura made a return. Various other magical girl series are still around or making a return. Cutie Honey was brought back, for crying out loud. And that's she's one of the OGs. So I know it's not on that level, but I do recall a lot of anime and manga fans loving this series. And it is a manga I actually own, even a la mode. I haven't read the entire thing, but I'd love to see the manga story fully adapted bit by bit or an anime adaptation, give us a la mode, and then eventually have Funimation or Viz dub it and bring it over here so I can buy it. Because I can't buy the original series unless I go online through a Japanese site and get it imported over here and whatnot, which I would love to do, and it'd be nice, but I shouldn't have to do that. Just saying. But yeah, Tokyo Mew is definitely one anime I think fully deserves to get a remake to fully tell the story, and so we can finally get to buy it. This next one, I don't think was ever on one of my lists, but I wanted, and nor do I think it really needs to be done for the reason of giving the full manga story, even though I think that there was a couple things changed in the manga, but more so just because I would love to see an updated version of it, a fully new version of this 90s series, and that goes to Trigun. Trigun doesn't really even deserve it. The original series is still so damn good, it doesn't need a remake because, because I think the original anime tells the story of the manga pretty well. I think there's a few changes, but compared to, say, Tokyo Mew Mew missing some volumes, almost half the series of Ouran High School not even being adapted, and various other animes that get cut off or they make so many changes, the mangas and anime are totally different things, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but can be if they change too much. Poor kids, when they dub stuff, and dubbing companies in general, and censorship and whatnot. But I just think it deserves it just to give us an updated, refreshed, cooler looking, better animated version. I'm not saying the original was bad. I'm just saying I would love to see an updated version of it. The story of Vash the Stampede with Wolfwood, Vash's brother Knives, Meryl, Millie. There was 14, I think about 14 volumes in the manga, but in the anime it was about 26 episodes. So it's about equaling out, adding a little bit of filler here and there and changing some stuff around, but it told basically the manga story. But I like I said, I mainly want to see this just to see an updated version of it. The anime was so good. The manga, I own a couple of volumes too. It's so good. I would love just to see a modern day adaptation of this series. And quite frankly, as far as and this also came to my mind recently when I was doing this list, and I noticed it on, I think, Facebook or Twitter or whatnot. Johnny Young Bosch, who does the English voice for Vash, that was his first anime voice acting role. He said he would, I seen a tweet or some Facebook post or some sort of interview somewhere. He would love to do more Vash the Stampede, so just make the series just for the sake of him being able to do his voice again. That would be awesome, just to bring just this fan project, this major project, just to update the series. There's a lot of fans of this anime and manga. Just give us a modern day adaptation of it, and it fulfills Johnny's role of redoing his first ever role. That's the main reason too. Give back to Johnny Young Bosch something that he would love to see, and a lot of fans would love to see just a modern day adaptation of this series. Doesn't really deserve it, but it'd be cool to see anyways. This next series, I don't know also if I've ever talked about, and it's another Magical Girl series. So yeah, just like Tokyo Mew Mew. So in the realm of like Cardcaptor Sakura, Cutie, Honey, Sailor Moon, and whatnot, Madoka Magica, except not on that level, but it's a 90s anime that got adapted into a long-running series back in the day. I came across it years ago, not back in the 90s, because that was when I only barely got into anime and only basically saw like Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z when it was the Ocean dub, Speed Racer and whatnot, until I really grew into loving the medium. But I came across that, I think, around 2015-ish, 16, yeah, about 2015, 14, 15-ish range on Hulu. And I'm like, this looks pretty cool. And that is Magic Knight Rayearth. For those of you that don't know that series, it is like it's a magical girl series, but not like in the vein of like a Sailor Moon or a Tokyo Mew Mew where they get the powers and transform and everything. They do transform, but it's like not a 5-girl squad like a Super Sentai or a magical Super Senshi kind of Sailor Moon thing. But it's basically about these characters, Hikaru, Umi, and Fu. They're on a field trip for those of you that don't know, they've never read the manga or seen the anime, they're on a field trip to Tokyo Tower. It's kind of funny how in a lot of anime and manga, how prominent Tokyo Tower actually is, and they get transported to this fantasy world of Sephiroth, and they have to save it from the evils of Zagato, Nova, Debonair. It's like a 6-volume manga, but it was adapted into a 45-episode anime. So there's 6 volumes, but they definitely add a lot of extra content, a lot of filler, a lot of new characters, a lot of stuff that wasn't in the manga. They beefed that up with filler so much. Like 6-volume manga, you could easily adapt that bit by bit, no filler, just full story, into about a 12 to 14 episode anime nowadays. That's definitely what each season of Sailor Moon Crystal basically has been. So you can basically Sailor Moon Crystal this series into basically one series about 12 to 14 episodes and just tell the story without adding all the changes. There's a few changes here and there. There's some characters, as far as I heard, from the manga to the anime adaptation. Definitely cut out some filler because there are bits in like season 1 of the series and parts of season 2 that really feel like they dragged on. I love the series overall, but I will have to admit the series did have its slow points. So cutting that stuff out, which is obviously a lot of the filler, giving us more of a manga adaptation like Full Metal Brotherhood, Sailor Moon Crystal, the new Fruits Basket 2019 series that just came out, which I'm so happy we finally have. Give us something that's, and it'll be a smaller series. It won't be 45 episodes. It will be easy length for people to watch, like 12 to 14 episodes. You could easily do 6 volumes into that. And I think it deserves it. It's like Magical Girls. Some of those old Magical Girl series are also coming back, like Cardcaptor Sakura, Cutie, Honey, Sailor Moon. They all came back, and this was definitely, as far as I remember, a big series back then because it had like I think a light novel or so. It had some video games. It was pretty big. It wasn't a Sailor Moon level big, but it was pretty damn big as far as I heard back in the day in terms of like anime fans, probably namely in Japan, probably the ones that like imported stuff back in the day with the VHS tapes and everything. I truly feel this would fit in with a Sailor Moon Crystal and Cardcaptor's, Sakura's new series nowadays. And there's a lot of new, Magical Girl series coming out. How about we give some of these new fans that are watching these new series a new take on an old classic? I do totally think this deserves it. And my last one, most definitely was on my list. These last two, Magic Knight Rayearth and Trigun, I don't think were on my old list. I know for a fact, or on High School Host Club and Tokyo Mew Mew were on there somewhere too. This one is definitely, I think, that third one of the 3 I said were likely on my old lists, and it's one I and many fans of anime and the manga, even though I've never read the manga, but there's a lot of people that read the manga and the light novels and whatever this series, truly feel deserve to get another anime adaptation to tell the full story, which is almost 9 times out of 10, like I said, the reason these should be made. And that's Spice and Wolf. I would do anything for this series to get fully told. In the original anime, it was about 25 episodes, 2 seasons. I think the first episode was 12 episodes, the second season was about 13-ish range. It was about 25 some episodes. It's basically about Holo, the wise wolf, and Lawrence, the human merchant, him trying to take her to her homeland, which is in the north. a lot of traveling, a lot of like meeting other merchants, meeting like all this stuff in ancient European times, old European times. It was a really fun series, and it has action moments, it has character development, it has sad moments, it's funny moments, it's romantic moments. It was an all around really good anime series, but they never complete their journey to the north. They finished season 2 and they're still traveling. The manga had about 16 volumes. There was a light novel that was about 3 volumes, and I think the manga ended, I forgot when, but I'm sure it was going on when they were starting the anime. The anime came out, I think, around like the late 2000s, in the early 2010s, probably around 2008 to 2010 range, I believe, 2011 range. It was in there somewhere. I certainly remember seeing it at Best Buy around that time. So I don't know if it was because the manga was still going on at the time or what, but they never completed it, and they made a lot of changes from the anime, from the manga into the anime. Different characters during different storylines, different people Lawrence and Holo met, and like just changed it up a bit. It wasn't changed up a whole lot, but it was changed up enough to significantly change the series. And I think a more manga adaptation that does those 16 volumes, give us 2 seasons, like a Sailor Moon Crystal seasons 1 and 2 kind of thing, where each season's probably about like maybe 8 to 12 episodes. Just throw it in there, or maybe one you can probably get in it. But I don't know if I think there might be a little too much for 1 season. So yeah, it could still probably be 2 seasons like the original anime was. But I want to see it. Out of all these 5 series, this is my number 1, because I sure as hell remember when I did my first list, this was number 1 on my list. I want another Spice and Wolf to finish the damn series. I want a full manga adaptation in anime form. I really would. And I'm sure a lot of you anime fans out there would agree with me on that. And that's it for this, the 5 list. We have Ouran High School Host Club, Tokyo Mew Mew, Trigun, Magic Knight Rayearth, and Spice and Wolf. Hope you guys like this list. Put in the comment section what you guys think. What anime would you guys want to see fully get a remake, and what reason for it as well? Is it going to be for you want to see the full anime, manga to anime storyline told, or do you just want to see better animation, or you just want to see an updated version of it in general, or you want to see more of that anime, more of that manga? What reason would you want to see an anime get remade? Put in the comment section below what you guys think of these 5, and that's it for this, the 5 list. Hope you guys liked it, and I'll see y'all later in the next video.